So, when I can't move my, yeah. Can you, I hope the slide has moved, right?
No, madam, no. It's on first slide.
Okay. Can you,
No, madam. Maybe you can share the screen, one option that we have share.
say stop sharing and then,
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
yeah, and stop sharing, trying to, yeah. Now,
It's loading, madam. Yeah, madam. You can see, madam. You can see your second slide.
so probably I'll not put it on full screen because I don't know. So I just put what I thought would be worth sharing. One is my career. Much of it was serendipity. And that's what had happened. What the scenario of women in manufacturing, or you could say it as opportunities, volunteering, primarily in IEEE, and leadership as per my understanding. So I think I was like many others in India at that time. I had only either become a doctor or an engineer. So seeing my grandfather and many others, I had wanted to be a doctor. But then I didn't get through my entrance, and then I had engineering, electrical and electronics as my, which was put as my first choice, and I could get through in one of the first, the premier institutions in Kerala at that time, the College of Engineering, Trivandrum. So I continued my studies. All along, I had this dream that I could work for, in the medical arena, probably helping patients, etc. Moved along. If you look at the graph below, post my BTech in 91, I had the experience of working in design, production, partly in servicing area, all for equipment. And then I moved on to be part of marketing in the current company, where I had close interaction with doctors and also our customers who are primarily blood centers. So Termo Penpal, which had come up as a homegrown company, uh, were the pioneers in India in manufacturing PVC-based blood bags. So if you had seen old Hindi movies, you would have noticed glass bottles where blood used to be collected and transfused, etc. So it was later on that in early 70s that India started importing blood bags from abroad. And in 85, this company, using the technology of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute, which is an institute of national acclaim under the Department of Science and Technology, based out of Trivandrum. The technology know-how was taken from them, and the company had started producing blood bags by 87. And by 99, Terumo, a large Japanese major in the medical device domain, had started their collaboration with Terumo Penpal, with Penpal in those days, and then moved on to fully absorbing the company as their subsidiary in 2012. So I'd been part of the journey from the early days, both in the medical equipment that they are manufacturing and also in the blood bags that are being produced. As on today, we produce close to 30 million blood bags per year annually, and export to almost 82 countries across the world. 75% of the production volume goes to export market. So my dream of being a doctor turned to being an engineer, but actively supporting and helping transfusion medicine, where we understand as engineers that without us, the current technological changes that is happening in the medical world cannot happen. So I keep thinking that what is serendipity after all? It is nothing but an aptitude for making desirable discoveries by accident. So you might think this happened by accident, but always remember that when you have a goal, you will, somehow you will always keep updating yourself in the medical arena and seek to see that you finally reach an area where you can you get to fulfill at least a part of your dream. This term called serendipity is really worth thinking. All of us, all youngsters, because if you don't look at the opportunities that are available, you don't keep updating yourself, you will never reach your goal. You can always keep on saying that, oh, I didn't get through, oh, I missed this. But let us always understand that there are more opportunities coming in and take on that. So, what is the scenario? Next slide, I hope everyone can see, which is basically a snapshot on what is the scenario related to women in manufacturing. So in the US, which is supposed the largest, one of the largest democratic nations and a developed country, women is just 49% of the workforce, but only 29% is in manufacturing, as per a Deloitte study. And when you come down to India, what is the scenario? As per ETHR World of July 2020, we are only into 3% in core engineering industry, to probably 12% in the electronics industry, which would be probably the largest area where women, or professionals are engaged. Uh, Pharma is much better. When I say pharma, this will include also medical device industries, which would come close to 15%. But we all know the emphasis that has happened towards Atmanirbhar and Make in India. The opportunities are enormous for women, be it an engineer, be it other professionals. This is a real time for anyone to be a part of the big game. And manufacturing is a major chunk of the Make in India phenomenon. So it is indeed interesting to note that India currently has nearly 1.4 million women panchayat leaders, which is a substantial number, and yet we have so trivial people working in industries and also coming up to leadership positions. So it's not because we don't have potential, it is only because we are not seeking the correct opportunities. So we have women leaving engineering and STEM. This is a study that was done by a magazine named Machine Design in February of 2019, where they find that almost 32% of women switch out of the STEM degree, or the what you call the science, technology, engineering, maths degrees, programs in college. And then what happens if you have an engineering degree? Yeah, I know in Kerala, almost 50 to 60% of engineering students in all the major verticals or branches are girls. But then finally, when you look at the scenario that is moving to for working or in industry, it is only our just a 30% finally comes in. And then if you look at the people who are there in engineering profession, it is only 30%, and that too, the majority, this is an average figure, the majority is primarily in the IT sector. So why is it that manufacturing, which is the hardcore and the bread and butter of any developing nation, is not able to attract women because even though we have a large number of women professionals. So, I must say, yes, there is a gender bias. When you come to a manufacturing firm, there is a general thought within the industry as such that women, okay, they can only be in either HR role or maybe in supporting functions like finance or other supporting functions, but not into the operations or the quality structure. There is also the point related to perception, which is actually mutual. I've known situations where we call for people to come in for where we keep mentioning that we need only women engineers, and we don't get even a single resume, because the perception is mutual. The girls also feel that, oh, it's a manufacturing firm, you may have to work in shift, you may have to work late hours, this is okay. So there is also the perception issues. The other point is the organizational climate, which is because of the scenario currently, because of the type of work that is involved, and also the policies that are currently in, there is a shift that needs to be coming in to bring in more ladies into the pool. And the point is actually a lack of mentorship. So when you speak about mentorship, again, it's mutual. It also depends on the mentee's willingness to understand the requirements and also ask for help and lean into a mentor. So again, that culture of a mentor-mentee is more prevalent, I think, in other service sectors than in a manufacturing kind of environment. It's not that there are many organizations which are doing this in a better way, but generally we don't have that concept of mentorship, which is very, very vital when you need to bring in women professionals. One of the way that could be done, which is being sought out by many of the entities, is providing internships to girls in a large way so that they understand the environment that they are supposed to work beforehand, and then get the taste of it, understand the joy of actually making things with your hand, seeing it for, unlike the service sector or the IT industry, you can actually touch and feel the product that is being manufactured in a large scale in a manufacturing firm. And then, of course, I will also always talk about the cultural norm that surrounds all the different states or in India generally. When the parents and the ecosystem generally thinks, oh, if it's a manufacturing firm, will it be a right place for a girl to work? Because as we see in IT industry, even if there are large scale industries which do back-end support where girls work round the clock or in late night shifts. The general perception is if it's manufacturing, no, don't go for shift working. But if it's an IT firm, they feel it's okay because They feel safer over there. There are policies which support the IT firms in a better way than in a manufacturing concern. And this is things that industry, the manufacturing industry as such, is now spearheading to move to bring in better policies. So if you really look at it, the manufacturing strong she. And what is she? She is actually safety, health, and environment. Anyone who had known through large scale engineering industries or large manufacturing industries like automobile industries, you know the kind of emphasis they give for safety, health, and environment. So if you really look at it, this is a good place to work for anyone, including ladies. But there are many other aspects, including the ecosystem, the culture, the norms, the perceptions, the organizational policies, etc., which need to be streamlined to attract more of these people. So, in a nutshell, manufacturing, when you look at it, everyone knows it is basically you have inputs like raw material, machines, labor, etc. You have a conversion process which happens generally in a shop, and then an output which could be, like in our case, a blood bag or a machine which is being used in a transfusion center. So there are different stakeholders with whom we actually have to interact. There are shop floor associates, there are suppliers, there are customers, there are regulators being a medical device environment, and as in any other industry, there is a huge role to be played by being a professional and also having all the skills that are by being a professional, like having good communication skills, managing conflicts, how you interact, interpersonal skills. All of these are needed in manufacturing in abundance. Sometimes I joke to my partner, my husband, he's an IT professional, that you have to only interact with a laptop or a computer, but we have to interact with human beings, which is a complex being rather than a computer. But yes, even in a service industry, we know what is the value that need to be given for interpersonal skills, communication. Even if you know the basics, even if your technical skills are 100% good, this aspect, being a professional, is very, very important in a manufacturing field. And I always feel that women having a better emotional quotient can always be a better leader and a person in a shop floor too. 2020, the challenges, you would have all heard about the term VUCA, which is nothing but volatility, the uncertainty that happens, the complexity of the issues, and the ambiguity. Which year is more better than 2020 to talk about VUCA? This term had come in long back, but I think 2020, this sums up totally, because of the pandemic that had come in. It had questioned all our norms. So just to give you a glimpse, initially in past years, my company, we always used to think working from home, never do that, because that means people may not be really working. They may be skipping many things. That was a thought process that we always had. Come 2020, we understood that there are many, many functions which could actually happen beautifully, many meetings which could be conducted much efficiently, sitting at home remotely through proper networking, proper protocols, things could be managed. So this was a total scenario shift. This used to be okay for IT industries, but manufacturing industries also understood that yes, changes can happen. Changes, this is only a small, I thought of mentioning a small example which happened because of the pandemic that coming. So agility is the key anywhere. You need to be agile in any industry, so in manufacturing. Why I say in manufacturing? Because you just think about what happens in our shop floor. There are close to 450 associates who work in a large shop floor inside the clean room in a given 6 to 8 hours. So manning the shift without contact, keeping all the protocols of the COVID, and also ensuring that there is no harm to the product that they are touching, and also to the associates as such, has been a big challenge. There had been many ingenious ways we had to bring in to see that our operations go along, whatever may happen. Input, I was mentioning about input. Now, one of the key ingredients for our blood bag, we have solutions inside where you need to have active pharmaceutical ingredients or solubles, which is generally shipped from China. There was a period of close to 2 to 3 months where we had a big hassle in bringing on shipments from China. Uh, Number one was any shipment that had come had to be fumigated thoroughly. So, in April May times, none of the doctors knew what needs to be done. I had scouted with many doctors to say, how can I ensure that my associate or my quality personnel, when they do a sampling, how do I ensure that there is no COVID in this material that is being shipped from China? I hope everyone knows the kind of frantic thoughts that were going along when anything China comes up in the early days. So that was also a new learning. We had to be so agile that things were moving. Initially, they said, okay, this COVID will stay only for maybe 24 hours. Then there were scenarios where it stays for 7 hours. Then there were scenarios where they said, no, 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 it stays as droplets for much longer hours. And still the theories are moving in, right? So sourcing was a major chunk where we had to find ways and means to bring it to see that our production doesn't stop. Why is it important that our production doesn't stop? Because these are blood bags. These are to go to a blood center for collecting blood, which will finally go to a patient. So in a nutshell, a patient shouldn't be affected, whatever may happen in outside, in the factory or in a market, whatever scenario happens, a patient shouldn't be affected. Then the other part was, okay, we made the blood bag. How do we reach it to the customers? Shipments were hassled. There were ports which were completely closed, no air shipments, nothing was happening. How do you actually manage with additional approvals from ministries, health authorities? How do you move ahead? So it was a great learning time to manage the situation. And as everyone must be thinking, medical device must be the only market that is currently having its booms, though there are ups and downs in specific products. But in general, this is one area where, because the customers are patients, we will always need the products to come live. So, moving forward, think about this. When you think about manufacturing, in earlier days, it was only mechanical systems. Then we moved to mechatronics. Okay, we had times when we had mechanical assemblies and electronics. Now we are into automated systems in a large way where we have mechanical assemblies, electronics, digital controls. And come industry 4, it's a very thin line between software or IoT based solutions and hardcore manufacturing. So what I'm trying to say is, this is the right time for girls, engineers, women professionals to come into manufacturing and contribute their might here, because you are actually moving to a world which is completely going to be the lines between physical and the software side is thinning so much that it is all a complete, all one kind of universe for you to tackle. So this is actually a right time for girls to come in. This is my last slide. I have one slide. It's very important into volunteering of IEEE, where the most I have learned in IEEE. I know you are all IEEE volunteers. Many of you are seasoned volunteers. There might be one or two who are newcomers. The most I've enjoyed volunteering in IEEE is for these reasons. The lessons in equity as such, where your voice is completely heard, irrespective of your gender, of your designation, of your professional level, of your technical capability, of your professional capability. This is one place where if you have the right, if you really work hard, this is the right place for you to volunteer. It's a non-hierarchical in a large way, but there are some structures, of course, which are required to maneuver such a large volunteering organization, completely gender agnostic, though we have a women in engineering group primarily to bring in more ladies into the pool, lady engineers into the pool, and of course, with the voluminous networking that is possible, you can gain knowledge on any area that you prefer to do, not only your technical skills, but also your professional skills. So this is an ideal environment, and I have really gained yeomen from this, my volunteering with IEEE, something that I keep on enjoying. Yeah, this is my last slide. Can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So, and finally, what is leadership to me? My leadership style would primarily revolve around trust. This is the basis, the foundation for any leadership or any transactional activity between human beings. And this is one model which is being perpetuated by Franklin Covey, and I really like, where trust happens to be the center of all your interactions with a person. The second one is, I would say, anything, your skills, even if you're skilled, even if you're interested in something, unless you're passionate about it, the outcomes wouldn't be as much as you want to. And as girls, I would say, as ladies, confidence is paramount. The capability to take informed risks. Why I mention this is, generally we have seen that we keep asking questions multiple times to ourselves as to, are we capable of doing this? Can I ask this? Am I good at this? Will I be able to complete this? Will someone think something about you? Will people think wrongly about you? All questions apart, be confident, be sure about what you want to do, and take informed risk. Without risk taking, you can't reach anywhere that you want. You must have read and heard about so many stories of powerful leaders where their risk-taking capability has been very high, but please be mindful that they have also taken informed risks. They have been defeated, but they've come out of it with their passion. And Gemba, this is primarily very important in a manufacturing floor. Gemba is a term, it's a Japanese term, which says that be at the place where the work actually happens. This is applicable anywhere. If you look in a service industry, if you're a chef, be at the place where you're cooking, where others are cooking, to know what is really happening. If there is an issue, take control of things. Or if it is if it is a hospital, You have to be right there to be take care of what are the situational things that need to be done. So Gemba is a very important part of any leader. And finally, we are all, when you reach, when you start managing teams and as you move ahead, we all understand that primarily we are all servant leaders. That is, while we lead, we are also facilitating for the teams. We will have to act to bring in groups. There will be people who are much more knowledgeable than you. How do you bring in them to the core and make them, give them the opportunity to prove their merit and thereby reach the common goal? So the Japanese way is serve the people, invest in the people, and they say the company will grow as the mind grows. So we say, and the community will grow, as IEEE says, advancing technology for the benefit of society. And finally, I love this quote. In the future, there will be no female leaders. There will only be leaders, just leaders, male, female, whatever category, gender agnostic. Let us all be leaders. And I urge that more people come into the medical device domain and also manufacturing. Thank you for your patient listening. If there are any questions, I can take it now.
Thank you very Thank you very much, madam. It's nice to listen to you. Before going to the thank and Q&A section, we'll have a photograph, madam. I request all the participants to switch on their video so that I can take the photograph for the record purpose. If few more participants switch on their video, it will be good for the photograph. Soumya madam, then Jagdamba madam, Saujanya madam, Murthy sir. Yes, I am done with that, madam. If any queries are there, please put on that. So any queries from audience, they can ask the madam directly. And just you can unmute and ask madam. Madam, I always wonder how to motivate the woman who has been married and sitting at home, who has already pursued her BTech or tech, and maybe not joining the company.
Chisti, I can't hear you.
Madam, it's like the question that I always see with the girls is that after marriage they throw off their job, they cannot come back again. So how to motivate them?
That's a good question. There are two things. So I think I touched upon the part of perception and also ecosystem.
Yes,
Okay.
madam. Yes, madam.
So one thing is one is the ecosystem that is required at your home and also within the society that you are in to support the returning of the mother to the organization, wherever, if it's an IT firm or whatever firm he or she has been working. The other thing is the passion of the girl to come back. So that's a major player, I'll say. If there is a will, there is always a way. There are many organizations which are willing to, they are having special programs to bring in girls back once they are over their initial period of motherhood, and they are ready to get back. There are many, there are places where creches are provided. You also have flexi timings given, support mechanisms to take, many of the, if there are any difficulty where support systems could be given. So there are many organizations in India which provide that facility, and it depends on the girl's passion to come back to work. That's why I say it is a two-way thing. One is the society has to support. Even if the society supports, it will largely depend on the person's confidence to come back. So IEEE, I know many sections are conducting. Our section had also conducted programs specifically for returning mothers. So this is one good area where your section, the V group, can conduct programs related to returning mothers. What are the skills that they can keep abreast with while they are in their parenting phase, and so that when they come out to look out for jobs, there are many options that are available at this scenario. And with COVID coming and people sitting at home and working, what more better way than to join companies right now and be part of it. Get your training done while this situation continues, and maybe later on you can move to a place to work. So I would say it's a combination. Keep your skills coming up always. Keep skilling up, upskilling yourself, and also be passionate about what you really want to do. It needn't be even going to joining a company. You can start your own business. There are many entrepreneurs who have come up after being a mother. When they had time, they thought about what is their skill, and they can come up on many things like that. So, very good point, Chishti. I think this is a good. This will be a good program which you can do either in collaboration with other sections or on your own to see that mothers are being brought in more. Thanks for that question.
Yes, madam. Surely I will take your input and I'll make that section will organize that event, madam.
Yeah.
And any participant want to ask any other question? This is what we are seeing, madam. We have to have a push and motivation so that they can ask the question also.
That is the case everywhere. I think primarily I keep saying that normally girls are able to ask more than North Indians. But let's not speak about North or South. It's everywhere, almost a common phenomenon. Or always is, am I asking